right, here we go on a Monday, April 20th. My mother's birthday is today, Chase.
Happy birthday.
So, thank you. Big stuff coming on today's show. Uh, Where were you, Chase, at about 8:30 on Saturday night?
I was at Ohio State. My
Hmm.
phone was off because it was a low battery, and
Hmm.
I had some friends tell me some crazy news, and I was
Some
like,
news.
pinch me. I can't believe it.
Did you have to make sure that you weren't seeing fake news, that you know,
Yeah,
the Bengals made a trade? Like for a defensive tackle that is considered the best in the NFL. He
correct.
is coming to the Bengals, Chase.
He's already here.
Forget the
He already-
10. Oh yeah, he is already here. So
yeah.
if anybody has a Monday night dance class that they sign up for, more power to you. You gotta take some Monday night dance class to learn the sexy Dexy because there's gonna be a lot of that happening around the streets of Cincinnati. But the Bengals, like Chase, I'll get right into it. This is what I thought about two things. Well, I'll get to this first. This is like the Rams trading for Matthew Stafford. This is the Ravens signing Derrick Henry. This is the Packers trading for Micah Parsons. This is the Bears trading for Khalil Mack. How many times over the years have we seen these big name teams in the NFL make these big splashy trades and we see their fan bases get so excited? We're now that fan base, Chase.
Yeah. I mean, this is pretty much the blockbuster move of the summer at this point. We're not in the summer yet, but we're pretty close to it, though. I mean, think about it. I mean, you're talking about a Bengals team that's got, so much greatness on offense. Obviously, Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, those guys, they need no introduction. But sexy Dexy, Dexter Lawrence on the front lines of it. I mean, look, this ultimately changes the defense in terms of he is the best defensive tackle we've had on the team since another 97 named Geno Atkins. This is a fantastic trade. And obviously we'll break down the details in just a moment. But man, I mean, fired up the Monday night dance classes. Do you have room for one more? I'll be learning the sexy Dexy as well.
Yeah, same here. I'll be learning it too. I think Dexter Lawrence weighs like 3 times what I weigh. So
He's 340. He's 6'4", 340. I mean,
but 342 pounds, and what he can do with that. I mean, he is nimble to
gosh.
say. I mean, here's the best part about this, Chase. Remember last year, we always joked about, oh my gosh, offensive coordinators are probably tantalizing by what they can do with the Bengals defense. Well, now they're going to be, sleeping with the lights on at night, particularly offensive line coaches, because of what Dexter Lawrence could potentially do to their offense to wreck whatever they're trying to do. The Bengals have not had this caliber of a player since Geno Atkins, as you mentioned, maybe since DJ Reader, maybe since Trey Hendrickson. And by the way, here's something else too. If anyone comes up to you on the streets and says, oh man, Mike Brown doesn't care about winning, just walk in the other direction.
Well, they must have mass amnesia over the last 48 hours if they don't. Because look, I mean, I don't want to be that guy that's out there and is like, obviously people are talking about Trey Hendrickson. We made this move because whatever. But I mean, I think Dexter Lawrence has been better at his position longer than Trey Hendrickson has been better at his position. If you want to do that type of game, they're both great players. Don't get me wrong, but you're talking about a force to be reckoned with, a 6'4", 340 force to be reckoned with that is nimble as all get out. I mean, he is taking on double teams, sometimes triple teams. If it's one-on-one, it's free eats out there for number 97 in orange and black now. I mean, come on, man. If you go back and watch the film of Dexter Lawrence, your eyes are going to be like this the whole time.
And we're just fans. Imagine opposing offensive coordinators and offensive line coaches.
Man,
from 2022, go ahead.
Again, I mean, this is like I haven't been this excited. This is the move. And remember, over the course of the offseason, yes, they make signings in the safety room. You get Brian Cook, you get Kyle Duggar a little bit afterwards. Boye Mafe the same day, first day of free agency. Jonathan Allen on the third day of free agency, kind of sprinkle some things here throughout, just your Taylor depth piece in the secondary. And we're like, they're making moves. These are good pieces and everything else. Brian Cook probably being, the the most known player that the Bengals signed on the back end, who's, in his prime, entering his prime, whatever you want to call it. But you're telling me, you're like, okay, they got to do something else. They got one or two more things they have to do for me to really believe in this team going forward. And you do that? Oh, man, sign me up. This is great. I haven't been this excited in a minute.
We talk about it all the time, Chase. The draft, you don't know exactly who you're going to get, but you know what you're getting in Dexter Lawrence. Do you realize, Chase, from 2022 through 2024, he had over 20 sacks and 20 tackles for loss. He made the Pro Bowl in each of those seasons. He was a two-time second-team All-Pro in those 3 seasons. I mean, what this guy can do, and it's not just what he's done in the NFL. Go back to when he was at Clemson. We always talk about how the Bengals pride themselves on drafting leaders and winners throughout their careers. Dexter Lawrence, 2-time national champion at Clemson. He was an All-American in 2018. And did you know that he is the highest-ranked recruit ever from the state of North Carolina?
Wow, repping NC pretty well. Wow, I mean, I didn't realize that. And you think about it, you'll go back and look, and people always have something to say about, especially Giants fans. Let me just say this, man. Giants fans are losing their mind in terms of I don't think they know which way to make up, because they're like, oh, we fleeced the Bengals. Okay, 5-10. Awesome, whatever, okay? But then they're also like, we gave up Dexter Lawrence, who's one of the best nose tackles, defensive tackles in football. And then, they start throwing shade at the Bengals fan base. They start throwing, shade at their own fan base, all this stuff. And then they start looking at the numbers of, oh, well, Dexter Lawrence only had 31 tackles last year, a half sack, an interception, blah, blah, blah. Well, he faced a bunch of double teams and caused so much havoc in the backfield in the lapse of many quarterbacks. But do you want to see the last 3 seasons of this guy? 2024. 44 tackles, had 9 sacks and a forced fumble. This guy was a first-team All-Pro. In 2023, 53 tackles, 4.5 sacks, first-team All-Pro. 2022, which was probably his best season, full season, 68 tackles, 7.5 sacks, 2 forced fumbles. All-Pro. In 2024, he played 12 games and had 9 sacks. You're telling me he plays a whole season? He's got 11 or 12 sacks by the end of the year.
And you remember what he did on Sunday Night Football on NBC against Joe Burrow and the Bengals offense that was rolling at that time.
Yeah.
I mean, that was one of their ugliest wins. Joe Burrow even said in the postgame with Melissa Stark, ugly. That's how he described the win.
Yeah.
And I go back to the point I made about Mike Brown, and I've said this before. He's going to be 91 when the Bengals kick off in the regular season.
Jeez. Wow.
This year.
I didn't realize that.
I hope he has a long life ahead of him, and I think he does. 91's 91.
Yeah.
He wants to see this team, the team that his father, who's Paul Brown, who's on the Mount Rushmore of NFL figures, that his father, Paul Brown, founded. He wants to see this team win a Super Bowl. And you know what else, too, Chase, is so great? Think about early January. Mike Brown put Zach Taylor and Duke Tobin squarely on the hot seat. He makes Duke Tobin available to the media in early January. So when does he ever do that? And you know what he has done? He has said, you're on the hot seat, but I'm going to help you out. Look at what they've done. They've spent money, Chase. They've spent money. Chase, Higgins, and now defense this offseason. This is even better than 2021 because you needed to, now I'm wondering, could they make another trade before the season starts? Will they maybe make an in-season trade? Heck, maybe next year they'll trade up and draft Jeremiah Smith and make him the punt and kick returner.
All right. I love the yep. I love it.
It's like what? It's like Mike Brown is playing chess while the rest of the AFC North is playing checkers. See, the AFC North, everybody else changed coaches. They thought that was the thing to do, and the Bengals kept their entire coaching staff, but they're already so ahead of the game. I mean, ESPN ran a graphic this morning on Get Up. Should the Bengals be the favorites to win the AFC North? ESPN is praising this. Mike Florio is praising this. What is happening?
It's crazy. I think what the one thing I think the Bengals need to go on ahead and really think about the last couple of off seasons. I wouldn't even say, obviously there's been a bunch of turmoil in the last few off seasons, especially at the point of March and April. Silence in May and June. You get to July training camp, and then there's a bunch of noise about contracts, people coming off injuries, all that stuff. if the Bengals, they've made so much noise in a positive light this offseason going into the draft. Just nail your draft. Let's get into the OTAs and minicamp. Everyone returns healthy in training camp and fly under the radar. Again, people are going to be out there and they're going to know that the Bengals, they made such a big move and everything else. But, what's caused trouble over the last couple of years is all of the turmoil and drama off the field.
Yep.
Right now, if things stand pat, there's not any of that.
No.
And they got to stay healthy. And if they execute and they get to week 1 firing on many cylinders, we could be in for a great season.
Ooh, why not us, Chase? That feeling is back for me. And think about this. The AFC is wide open. I mean, we'll get Chase back in a minute. The AFC is so wide open. The Patriots won the AFC last year. I don't know if they're going to be as good as they were last year. Now that they're going to play a first-place schedule, they were 14-3 this past season, went to the Super Bowl. Their offense wasn't very good in the playoffs, particularly in the AFC Championship and in Super Bowl 60. So there's questions about them. Chase is back here. Chase, the point is, the AFC is wide open. Do you trust the Patriots?
Not as much. I mean,
do you trust the Broncos?
I mean, that's the thing. It's like if we got our guys healthy and executing, I mean, why not? Yeah, why not us? Like you said,
if Joe Burrow gets into the playoffs and they're a 3 seed or a 2 seed, who wants to face them? And then it's like, I got to face Dexter Lawrence in the playoffs.
I don't think I don't want to get too far because, again, the season starts in 4.5 months. But I think, if the Bengals start off strong, they keep things going and everything. We don't know what the schedule looks like. We have no idea. We'll talk about the schedule in a minute. But again, they got to be able to get to the starting line together as a unit. You'll get through the season. You'll be able to get through the ups and the downs, more ups than downs, like a roller coaster at that. You don't want to have a roller coaster season, but you want to have more positive trending upward instead of more negatively trending downward. And then you'll find yourself 10 wins, 11 wins. Maybe you win the division. Again, you've got excellent offensive playmakers. You've got a game wrecker on defense. And we haven't even talked about this. It opens it up for everybody else on the defensive line. And on top of it, if you have a guy that can disrupt and try to make it home, that impacts the secondary massively.
Which has an ascending corner at DJ Turner, and that now has Brian Cook. Maybe Jordan Battle takes no step this year. And the other thing for me is, at the very least, it makes the linebackers from a liability to a question mark. You can live with question marks, Jason, because you don't know. You don't know.
Yeah,
maybe Barrett Carter and Demetrius Knight with Dexter Lawrence's leadership up front. Like, Dexter Lawrence looks like a guy who just knows a lot of football. Like, he looks like a guy that's going to have the respect of that entire defense. Okay? That's what this defense needed. It had a lot of guys on it last year that were so green. They didn't really know what they didn't know, and that was a bad thing.
Yeah.
But now they have that leader, and maybe the linebackers benefit from that. I don't know. The other thing, too, is think about the last 4 off seasons prior to this one, okay? And what did the Bengals do? They went out and made sure Joe Burrow had an adequate offensive line and weaponry around him. 22 was La'el Collins. Again, they needed to address the offensive line. They did. 23 was Orlando Brown Jr. That was a big splash. 24 was they signed Trent Brown. They drafted Amarius Mims. Okay, fine. Last year was they paid Chase and Higgins. That was great. Even Mike Gesicki in free agency in 24. But this year, Chase, because they saw how bad that defense was. They saw it bottomed out. And this is the Joe Burrow era. Defense wins championships. This is how you push your chips to the center of the table. You're going all in. We don't trust who we're going to get number 10. Let's do something about it. Let's do something we don't normally do. That is how a modern organization operates with a superstar quarterback and a superstar wide receiver. And think about this too. Even in 21, the year the Bengals went to the Super Bowl, they had the Jesse Bates contract thing.
Yeah.
That kind of cast a cloud in the off seasons. There's not that this year. The only one that may be is Dax Hill, but that's fine because it's like they don't know what they're going to do.
Yeah, and on top of it, in terms of the linebackers, don't use Dexter Lawrence's impact as a crutch to you guys. Use it as an asset to try to, improve your game. Demetrius Knight, Demetrius Knight, I think he got better later on in the season, okay? Barrett Carter, more, feet in quicksand, whatever you want to call it, okay? But, again, having a guy in the middle like that can disrupt things, it'll open opportunities for those guys to try to see better run-stopping lanes, be able to fill gaps, A gap, B gap, whatever their responsibility is, their gap responsibility. And on top of it, what I would really like to see, especially with the Bengals' first pick being at 41 on Friday, is if for somehow, some way, Jacob Rodriguez from Texas Tech is there. I think that right there, I think you can, you have question marks, and then you've got a guy that was the best linebacker in college football.
Yep.
Why not?
Yeah. I mean, this organization's taking big swings. Defense does win championships. You need that closer on your defense. Dexter Lawrence can be that. What if Jacob Rodriguez can be that? And what if now, because of Lawrence's ability to collapse the pocket and take on double teams and completely shut down the running game, what if you make Carter and Knight more of blitzing linebackers, and then you can say, well, then they can beat you over the top. Brian Cook's lurking back there, Chase. DJ Turner is going to blanket whoever's on the outside. Good luck trying to stop this defense. And oh, by the way, Chase, isn't it nice that the offense is kind of figured out going into this season? The offensive line's adequate.
Yes, there is no drama on the offense there's nothing. We're good. We know we're so good on offense that we're just able to you know what? Let's fine tune some things. Let's get on track and on page quicker in the jump to start the season off, and let's roll. Because guess what? Yes. The defense still trying to figure things out. And you talk about it. Yes, Brian Cook on the back end, Jordan Battle as well. It's interesting what they're going to do at that nickel position. Are they going to walk down
Keontae Scott?
What are they going to do? Are they going to, are they going to, use different guys in that position? Are they going to draft somebody? I mean, I don't know. Another guy that I really like, and I don't know if he's going to be there in the third round, is D'Angelo Pons. I think that would be your Mike Hilton. That's just me kind of dreaming at this point. Hell, we dreamed for Dexter Lawrence and the dream came true. So why not?
I still can't believe it. Yeah, I still can't believe it. I was covering the FC Cincinnati match, and someone texted me, "Sexy Dexy is a Bengal." I'm like, wait, what? Is this actually true? Like, I had to triple check to make sure that Adam Schefter, not fake accounts, not parody accounts. I had to make sure it was the Adam Schefter tweeting about it. Make sure it was Jordan Schultz. And by the way, Jordan Schultz, great asset for the Bengals from the national media. He's fantastic. I mean, when he says a changing organization, and that's the thing, because you had people this offseason within the Bengals fan base say, oh, these are still the same old Bengals. No, they're not. No, they're not, Chase. They, to their credit, they saw this team bottom out in the Joe Burrow era. And now, yes, Joe Burrow was hurt last year. Damn it, they should have won more games than they lost with Joe Flacco at quarterback. They should have beaten the Jets. They should have beaten the Bears. They still should have had 10 wins at least last year. They know that, and they cannot waste another year. Joe Burrow said it's as big of an offseason as it can get. You know what? There's a thing called the Joe Burrow effect, and it is real. But even with now Dexter Lawrence on your defensive line, I mean, look how much better your defensive line is compared to where it was on January 3rd, January 4th, whatever day it was, January 5th. Yeah. Now your starters are going to be Boye Mafe, Jonathan Allen, Dexter Lawrence, Miles Murphy. Good luck.
But then you think about it, you have B.J. Hill there too.
Yes, and even
TJ
Slayton's a guy that you want coming off the bench for if Dexter Lawrence needs a breather, or Jonathan Allen primarily.
Exactly. And then you got Miles Murphy, Shamar Stewart, Boye Mafe.
Yeah, what can Shamar do? What can Shamar do with a normal offseason and being healthy?
Well, what can Shamar do when Dexter Lawrence is taking up so much stuff? Guess what that allows those guys to do? Pin your ears back and rush on third down. Boom.
Yes, and if quarterbacks try to get away, have you seen Dexter Lawrence move a little bit?
And look, I don't necessarily care about Trey Hendrickson, what he's doing in Baltimore.
He's old.
Until we get there, until we get to the season and all that stuff we're looking around, cool. Trey's a very good pass rusher. He's one of the best pass rushers in football. But here's one thing that you start to look at. Trey Hendrickson lined up on one side, all right?
And
he lined up on the blind side. And he was a great pass rusher from the blind side. But guess what? You could chip. You could put a tight end over there. You could, put a bunch of extra help. You could go double tight end set. You could put a running back over there. If you had a straight wall at left tackle, it's like, okay, we'll take it one-on-one. We'll see what happens. You can't do that with Dexter Lawrence.
No.
Again, you start moving things around. Maybe Dexter Lawrence is, at that primary defensive tackle spot or straight up in the 3-tech. You're telling me straight up in the 3-tech against the center, more than likely going to bulldoze a guy. If he's lined up in that 4-down line situation, you have a running back all the way up, right up against in the A-gap situation, right in between the center and the guard. And you kind of already screwed up your situation as like, we're causing so much stuff over here that it's just one-on-ones on the outside for the rest of those guys. Can they win the one-on-ones? And that's where you can move Dexter Lawrence around even as a chess piece. I'm not saying you line him up on the edge or anything like that, but who's to say Al Golden doesn't? Who's to say Al Golden's like, let's get weird, let's get so odd that we put, let's put Shamar Stewart in the middle with Dexter Lawrence. Let's put those guys in there, and then we'll throw Boye Mafe, Miles Murphy. Like, let's just roll some weird stuff out there. You know what I mean?
On the edge, see what that does.
Exactly. So then you start to move your defensive line around. You get offensive linemen on their heels, and then you're like, okay, where do we have the pressure coming from? Let's slide our protection to the right. Oh shit, there's a free rusher coming blind side. That's where all this stuff happens, and you're like, it's tough. It's a versatile chess piece that Dexter Lawrence is, and I know we're going on and on about it, but why can't we, man?
We haven't had an impact player of this caliber since Geno Atkins or DJ Reader. And think about this. Do either of the other 3 teams in the AFC North, do either of their offensive lines scare you?
No, not one bit.
All right, let's go to the other teams the Bengals play this year. They play the AFC South. Does any offensive line in that division scare you? Besides maybe Jacksonville? No. Colts don't. Houston certainly doesn't. Tennessee certainly doesn't. All right, let's go to the NFC South. Do any offensive lines besides Atlanta scare you? No.
Wouldn't say no.
Okay. Then you go to the other AFC teams that you play this year. You're going to play Kansas City. Their offensive line is not what it was a few years ago. I can guarantee you that. And by the way, Chase, did you know that Dexter Lawrence now has the second highest average annual value on a contract behind only Chris Jones? The Bengals are doing this, by the way. Okay.
Yeah,
the Cincinnati Bengals. All right. So Kansas City doesn't scare you. Does Miami's offensive line scare you? I can't even name you one offensive lineman that they have.
Not at all.
Maybe Patrick Paul. That's actually good. So
in Washington.
No, they don't either.
Yeah. So there you go.
Okay. So we just went through every team the Bengals are going to play this year. And by the way, Dexter Lawrence is going to be going up against the Bengals offensive line in training camp. There's some pretty good people on that offensive line. What do we say, Chase? Iron sharpens iron.
Exactly.
Oh.
Exactly. This was a calculated move, and I hope this thing just hits 100%. I'm so excited.
And here's the other thing too. If for some reason, let's say the Bengals offense has a bad game early on this year, they're gonna have games where they don't show up, or I shouldn't say where they don't show up, where they aren't prolific. That's fine. It happened to the 07 Patriots, but your defense can cover for you now.
Yeah,
especially early on in the season. We always say, Chase, the defense is ahead of the offense.
Yep, exactly. That's the big thing.
Jamar and DJ Turner battles in training camp are going to be epic. Dexter Lawrence against Ted Karras. Those battles are going to be fun. Boye Mafe against Amarius Mims, Miles, or against Orlando Brown Jr. There is a renewed jolt in that locker room. Dan Horde literally texted me on Saturday night. I'm flabbergasted. If Dan Horde is telling you that, you know that this, I still can't believe that the Bengals, who for years, value their draft capital, they're going to do things a certain way, and they have evolved a lot in the Joe Burrow era, but doing This is an off-season move that makes you that makes you can't wait until September. And I got a busy month of September. By the way,
you better believe it. But I got to ask you this though. I got to ask you this on the tie-in.
Right.
Okay, how does that affect your mock schedule for Sunday Night Football 2.0?
Well, I actually did this before the Dexter Lawrence trade. It actually validates my Sunday Night Football schedule 2.0. How about that? It's like we just knew in the future. But it sounds like from what we're talking about here that the draft strategy now kind of shifts to, okay, how can we beef up the linebackers? How can we, get a slot corner, Keontae Scott? You mentioned Jacob Rodriguez. Is defensive tackle still on the board? Do you maybe go after a Caleb Banks, as a depth piece? Like, you don't have a first-round pick, but you still have the opportunity to get some bodies in the room. Maybe you even trade back again in the second round. Yeah. You have options now, Chase. If there's one thing, too, that this trade says to me, the Bengals just didn't throw up their hands and say, well, we're going to make the most of this. No, we're going to pivot when we see that we don't like what we see with what's here.
Yeah.
That's called being proactive.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, linebacker, corner, see what else happens in the later rounds. That's pretty much all I got for this segment of it.
Man, oh man, this is fun. I tell you, it's going to be so nice on Thursday when you and I are watching the NFL draft and we're not sweating anything. Like, I might watch the next playoff game. I mean, I might, order some wings and a beer. Yeah. I mean, this
should be fun.
All right. Okay. Now, I got some marketing pitches.
Let's hear them.
This one I'm throwing out for my two better ones. But I did have, so week 16, Monday Night Football is going to be on December 28th. Chase, do you know what occurred on December 28th in 2019?
December 28th, 2019? That was the Ohio State-Clemson game, unfortunately, and LSU-Oklahoma in the playoff.
Do you remember what happened in the LSU-Oklahoma playoff game?
70 points scored by LSU, and Joe Burrow had 8 touchdowns, I believe.
So what if that's Joe Burrow has not played in Atlanta since that game. So I was going to go with Bengals-Falcons that Monday night on the 7-year anniversary of his 7 touchdowns. But no. Oh, I got two better marketing pitches.
Oh, boy.
Here we go. Chase, did you see there was another big defensive signing, or I should say extension, on Friday?
Can't remember who, because I'm so clouded by Lawrence. Who?
I think I had to remind myself that too yesterday. But Will Anderson got paid.
That's right. 50 mil. It's crazy.
At 3 years, $150 million, 134 but guaranteed. But Chase, he's a very easy player to root for, and he is absolutely worth the money he was given by the Houston Texans.
Yeah.
I mean, you go back and look at his college numbers, they're insane. I mean, what he did at Alabama and so far living up to it in his first 3 seasons with the Houston Texans. So we've seen Will Anderson and Dexter Lawrence. September 12th, Chase, is Saturday. There's a big game in Austin, Texas that night.
Yes, there is.
Ohio State and Texas. So what if 2 nights later in Houston, we have not 1, but 2 former Ohio State quarterbacks duel it out on Monday Night Football with 2 big defensive signings, transactions from this offseason, Dexter Lawrence and Will Anderson. Let's have some fun. Bengals, Texans, Monday Night Football, week 1 in Houston.
Wow. Yeah, you're throwing the Bengals out there, man. I mean, heck, why not? Those are some good ones there.
Now, that's okay.
I'll say one here. I think this one, I take it back to 2014. I believe that game might have been week 13. And the Packers played a prolific AFC East opponent that had 2 dynasties. This team doesn't have a dynasty, but they are an AFC East team, and they pretty much run that division. Give me Bills, Packers, late November, CBS, 425.
Sunday after Thanksgiving.
Come on,
Midwestern showdown.
Come on. I think it makes too much sense. I think Josh Allen and Lambeau. I mean, the last time we saw Josh Allen and Lambeau was his rookie year, and I believe it was week 4. So
yeah, and
why not throw it out there, man? It's starting. The tundra's starting to get it. It's not frozen just yet. It actually might be frozen at that time. It's getting pretty cold up there, and you got a snowmobile and Josh Allen. I mean, come on, man. Let's get it.
They call it the Winter Soldier, and yeah.
That could be thinking.
By the way, speaking of winter, it was a little Joe cooler in terms of the weather on Saturday. So maybe winter came a little later this year, and it's going to come early this year, because when winter comes, so too does Joe Burrow and Josh Allen.
Very true.
Okay.
Very true.
All right. Well, we're on the 425 topic. I have a sneaky 425 game. You know, red, white, and blue in the NFC is 49ers, Giants, or Giants. Yeah. Well, it would be 49ers at Giants this year. But how about a Colts-Chiefs 425 game on CBS?
This early season, you're thinking?
I think so. There's something about the Colts. I heard earlier this offseason they may not be that good. Why not? They paid Alec Pierce. Their defense is solid. Daniel Jones proved that he still has something. Jonathan Taylor's still there. Colts, Chiefs. You know, everybody's going to probably put their money on the Chiefs to bounce back this year. The Colts almost beat them last year. And the Colts have always given them a lot of trouble, Chase.
That's true. That's true. I could see that happen in early season as well. And you know what? I'm gonna take a switch to a Monday Night Football game. I think these two teams just scream Monday night. And I'm gonna go on ahead and rewind it back to 2018. And let's play this one again. Let's go Steelers-Bucks Monday Night Football.
Ooh. Well, it'll be in Tampa Bay. Unfortunately, Ryan Fitzpatrick won't be there. I remember that was week 3.
Yeah.
Fitzpatrick was, it was the Fitz magic train. The Steelers were 0-1-1, and then they scored like 30 points in the second quarter.
Well, you remember Vance McDonald had a crazy stiff arm and ran a touchdown off
I remember Joe Tessitore lost his mind on that play.
He did. And I think it makes sense, because guess what? Why not have Baker Mayfield play against the Steelers, who honestly, he honestly wasn't that bad against him.
I beat him in the playoffs, so there is that.
They remember that.
You want to talk about Monday Night Football, and I could see this being the Week 1 Monday Night Football game. I'm going to rewind it back to 2007.
Oh, boy.
Week 1, Chad Johnson putting on the Hall of Fame jacket on the sidelines after toasting LaRon Landry. Toasting LaRon Landry. 19 years later, let's run it back. Trey Hendrickson faces his former team. Bengals have Dexter Lawrence. It's the Ravens' first game with Jesse Minter as their head coach. Ravens-Bengals in the jungle, Monday Night Football, Week 1.
Oh, man, that would be fantastic. I would love to see it on Sunday night, Week 1. I think the big thing about the one thing, and we're nerds about this stuff, I think the one thing why I put that Monday night Week 1 is because the Reds play the Dodgers at home that night at 7:10. So that's where I'm like, all right, if you're gonna put it there, put it. If you're gonna have Ravens Bengals play a night game Week 1, man, put it on SNF. Let's go for all the marbles,
all the marbles.
But again, you know what? I think this is an interesting one and a twist. I'm gonna go with 49ers and Chargers, and I'm going to put that on Prime. It's a weird one.
Wow, and a prime marketing pitch.
A prime marketing, but you know what? I truly think I could see this as a late October game. That it's like, it's getting breezy outside, and you're like, wait a second, we got a Niners Chargers game tonight.
The color schemes are going to be fantastic.
Yeah. I think it bodes well. I mean, I don't know. I think something about the Niners going in there to SoFi and not playing the Rams. I don't know. I think it's an odd one. I mean, they played on Sunday Night Football a few years back in 2022.
Yeah, I remember that.
I think that could be something that could be messed around with, because Amazon Prime has had a lot of they've had a lot of really good games over there. There's usually a lot of divisional matchups, but why not throw one random California matchup in there?
I'm all in on that, especially when you consider that it could be a Super Bowl preview at the site of Super Bowl 61. I'm going to go, I'm going to put a twist on this.
Okay.
I'm going to go with the AFC Championship rematch between Denver and New England, but put it on Fox.
Denver, New England. Ooh.
With Tom Brady on the call.
Okay, I like that. Again, they were going to do that Bengals Bills last year. That's the main Fox game, and obviously it was your Burrow versus Allen. But why? Yeah, why not? Why not get random about it? I like that.
By the way, does the Dexter Lawrence trade make you think the Bengals may get more primetime games this year?
Well, let me look through. Let me go through their schedule one more time real quick, because
if it was the 2027 schedule, it absolutely
in
would
terms
increase.
of every AFC North team has a premier defensive lineman, edge rusher, whatever you want to call it. My question is, the Jaguars, they still have, Josh Allen Hines, Titans, Jeff Simmons, Saints, Bucks, Vita Vea. I don't know if it's going to give them any more, but I still think the Bengals are going to be around 4 primetime games. And I really think, and they usually don't do this unless it's like a historic matchup or, 2 big time market teams. I really think that both Bengals Ravens games should be in a national window. I think one should be on Sunday Night Football, and I think the other should be on at 425. I think we have messed around with this for too long.
We've messed around. Yeah. Why haven't both been the last 3 seasons?
Yeah.
They have produced some phenomenal games.
We've messed with this for way too long. You know what I mean? And the dramatic factor of this, again, they 4 straight years where the Bengals have had to go to Baltimore and play a night game in a place where Baltimore is nearly unbeatable at. All right? Except on Thanksgiving. But I'll say this, though. The dramatic effect, the, appointment television that it would be to see Trey Hendrickson go back to Cincinnati to take on the Bengals, and Dexter Lawrence is there now too. The guy that basically replaced him. Come on, man. Come on.
Trey Hendrickson against Orlando Brown Jr. and Trey Hendrickson going after Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow's yet to beat Lamar Jackson at home, as crazy as that sounds.
I feel better about Orlando Brown Jr. blocking Trey Hendrickson as I would the Ravens' new center blocking Dexter Lawrence. Okay? And the crazy thing about it is, and I said the crazy thing about it probably 5 times, like I said it on an episode before, Joe Burrow versus Lamar Jackson's a subplot.
A subplot.
What world is this?
Come on. Like you mentioned, right Bengals, Ravens. Maybe the Bengals and the Steelers get 2 national windows this year.
They should get one for sure. They should definitely
get one. That rivalry is as fierce a rivalry as there is in the NFL. I wouldn't even be surprised if the Bengals and Browns get a primetime game this year, potentially.
Possibly on Prime. But I'll say this. I think the Bengals and Browns is your in-state rivalry where 2 teams don't like each other. Fan bases are mixed throughout the entire state. You've got, Bengals Steelers, fierce rivalry. You saw it more in the 2000s, 2010s. It's still bad blood between the teams. But I truly think the Bengals and Ravens now have like legit hate. I think there is legitimate hate between the 2. And I said it once before. I don't know if I said it on the air, but as crazy as it sounds, the Ravens surpassed the Steelers for me in teams I hate the most.
Well, it's just because of what the Ravens did in terms of how they got Trey Hendrickson. If they had just traded for Max Crosby and gave up 2 first-round picks, fine, do whatever you want. I would have praised the Ravens. I would say, you know what, they're going for. Good for them. Yeah. But and they say they didn't know. You had to know about Max Crosby's physical. This 100%. Is and people say, oh, the Ravens are still one of the model franchises in the NFL. Well, model franchises don't do what the Ravens just did. Okay. Now, the Steelers, I still detest the most because they're the Pittsburgh Steelers and because of what they did when I was growing up.
Me. And it's very close.
Those seminal moments stay with you. Like Lance McAllister said, those seminal moments are created when you're about 7 or 8 years old. Well, I turned 7 in November of 2005. 2 months later, Kima von Oelhoffen wrecked Carson Palmer's knee. And then on December 31st, New Year's Eve of that year, I was 8. Santonio Holmes was streaking down the sideline after Shane Graham missed a 39-yard field goal that he never should have missed. So
the Steelers got me too.
Those moments stay with you. And of course, there's Joey Porter and his trash talk and running his mouth and whatever.
There could be a whole episode.
I mean, oh gosh, yes, we could. There could be a whole episode on that. There could be a whole episode on forgotten SNF on NBC games. There could be. I'll tell you, next episode, what we're going to do is we're going to go through every team in the NFL and say how many primetime games, 0 through 7, we think they're going to get. And then we're going to go through every team and say, are they strong? Are they a strong consideration to play in primetime or a feature national game in week 1? I did this exercise in my head the other day. The Bengals, I was like, well, they could at least get an Ian Eagle and J.J. Watt, or maybe Joe Davis and Greg Olsen.
Maybe they need to avoid Ian Eagle week 1. Maybe they need to avoid him because I know it's not. Ian's I know he's a good friend. I know it's not his fault, but 3 straight years in a row, the Bengals had Ian Eagle calling their games, and they looked like shit. They lost.
Well,
times I know it's not. I'm kidding, but I'm not kidding about the result, though. They did not look good and lost. So
the other thing. Here's the other thing too. You mentioned this has changed the Bengals schedule. I don't even care if they get 2 Thursday night home games on Prime with Andrew Whitworth there. That's fine.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
that's fine. Give a division home game and then maybe play the Jaguars or maybe play the Titans. Heck, maybe even play the Saints or the Buccaneers.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes. But before we go, I do want to hear you rattle through your 2.0.
Well, you're not ready for this.
Let's hear it.
Okay, you're not okay. You're not ready for this. First of all, now this is. I told you all on the last show that this was going to be like Jahmyr Gibbs. This is going to be a Jahmyr Gibbs type 2.0. It's gonna start fast and then it's gonna cruise in the middle and then accelerate at the end. Now here's the thing about opening night: the options really are kind of slim pickings. If you think about it, Chase. Niners and Rams are playing the next night, so those two are off the table. And, I mean, the Bears are a viable option. The Chiefs are a viable option. Did you know, though, the Chiefs have not played on a Sunday in week 1 since 2022? That's kind of insane to think about. More on that in just a minute. So I'm going to go with Giants Seahawks here. John Harbaugh versus Mike McDonald. John Harbaugh being the new head coach of the Giants, they're going to be on national TV in week 1 anyway, I think. So let's give them a primetime game in week 1. All right. Week 1 SNF on NBC. Okay, my goodness gracious. Oh, you're not ready for this. 9 of the previous 10 AFC championships have been won by New England or Kansas City. Drake May faces Patrick Mahomes this year.
Oh, boy.
Week 1 SNF on NBC Sunday night. Patriots at Chiefs in Kansas City. We are starting.
That's blockbuster. That's big.
That's week big. 1. All right. So week 2, I wanted to have some fun. Case, do you remember there was a playoff game, and this year is the 30th anniversary of said playoff game. It's famously called the Ambush in Mile High, where the Jacksonville Jaguars upset John Elway and the Denver Broncos. This was Jacksonville's second year of existence. Well, we're running it back 30 years later. Week 2 SNF on NBC, Jaguars at Broncos in the Rocky Mountains.
Big one.
That was stuffed in the 405 slot on Fox last year in week 16. We're not doing that this year. I'll tell you that much. All right. Week 3, kind of settling down a little bit. Let's go classic. Eagles at Cowboys last Sunday of September. And then week 4, another divisional rivalry. And for the first time since 2020, and only the second time in SNF on NBC history, the first 5 games, including opening night kickoff, are all west of the Mississippi River. Week 4, we're going Niners at Seahawks.
All right. Big one.
That's the first 5 games. I mean, talk about a gauntlet.
Yeah, got that right.
All right. Week 5. This has not been an SNF on NBC game. It should have been already, maybe, but it's going to be this year. Chiefs at Bengals.
I love it.
Week 5. First game east of the Mississippi River. Week 6. The great intersectional rivalry. Rams at Eagles. In Philly.
Yeah.
Week 7. We're going to the Lions' den. Bears and Lions.
Ooh. Sign me up.
Even my dog is so excited. I think he's barking in a mail carrier, but he's actually barking at the schedule. It's that good. That's week 7, Bears and Lions. Week 8, Ravens at Texans. Kind of a wild card, but still, these two teams have played so many times. It's Lamar Jackson against CJ Stroud. That could be an interesting one. Week 9. Now we're going to pick things back up a little bit. Patriots at Bills in Buffalo in the new Highmark Stadium. And Lord knows what implications that could be in that division, in that divisional matchup. Week 10, here's a good one. Falcons at Packers. Kind of a wild card matchup, but still, maybe Tua gets this Falcons offense to take off. All he has to do is hand off to Bijan Robinson, and you're good to go.
Yeah.
All right, let's go week 11. Hey, Chase, I got a question for you. It's 4th and 2, and your season's on the line. What play are you calling?
I don't even know. I'm just throwing the football.
You're throwing it. Okay. What you do is you run a quarterback bootleg to the left with David Garrard. We're going back to an SNF on NBC original. Steelers at Jaguars in Jacksonville, week 11. By the way, you forgot an SNF on NBC game, week 5, 2008. Steelers at Jaguars.
That was supposed to be a week 11 SNF game in 2018.
That ended up being the Vikings and the Bears, which the Bears then had to play on Thanksgiving, the early game against the Lions. And I remember there was a huge uproar about that, particularly coming from the Bears. All right, Thanksgiving night. Let's run it back, but reverse it. Ravens at Bengals.
Okay. I like the old switcheroo.
I heard this on the Bengals Booth podcast with Dan Horde and Jeff Butch Hobson. And Dan asked Jeff, because Jeff was at the spring meetings in Phoenix. And Dan basically asked Jeff, could they do it as a make good for last year? I could easily see it. It was going to be in Cincinnati, Chase, if you remember.
Yeah, it was, but they had the Miami and Baltimore game in Miami on Thursday night, so they wanted to get Baltimore a home game on TNF, and it happened to be Thanksgiving.
Oh, please. All right, here we go. Week 12, Broncos at Chargers.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Now, here's the thing. So Thanksgiving night, you got Ravens at Bengals, then week 12, you have Broncos at Chargers. Maybe Noah Eagle will call it the Ravens and Bengals game with Chris Collinsworth, who lives in Cincinnati, Chase. Can you imagine that?
That'd be a hell of a pairing. That'd be a crazy pairing.
Noah Eagle. By the way, Noah Eagle tonight. Okay, he's barely older than I am, and you. He's calling a playoff game tonight for the NBA in Madison Square Garden.
Crazy.
Nick's first NBA playoff game on NBC since 2001. Now we're going to pick things back up here. Week 13, an SNF on NBC Classic, Cowboys at Giants.
Yeah, you can't go wrong.
That's the first Sunday of December. Excuse me. Week 14. This has been an SNF on NBC game before. Chase, do you remember the first SNF on NBC game when Mike Tirico took over as the primary play-by-play announcer and Melissa Stark took over as the primary sideline reporter? Do you remember what matchup that was?
Cowboys-Bucks.
Yes, that was the Sunday night game.
Oh,
do you remember the opening night kickoff
Bills
game?
Rams, right? Yeah.
Let's run it back. Week 14, 2 years later, when they slugged it out at SoFi, we're doing it again this year on SNF on NBC. Bills and Rams, week 14. All right. Week 15, we're going big here. Packers and Lions.
That'll suffice.
Suffice to say, it will. Week 16, we should have seen this matchup last year in the Super Bowl. We saw it in the Super Bowl 13 years ago. Seahawks at Broncos in the Rocky Mountains. And then week 17, there's nothing like, this is the last scheduled SNF on NBC game. How about a battle between the Birds of Prey and the Monsters of the Midway in the Windy City? Eagles at Bears. And if you really want to spice things up, you relax your uniform policies and you let the Eagles wear their Kelly Greens and you let the Bears wear their throwbacks. Yeah, we're going that.
Would love that.
That's 2.0. 3.0 is going to be just pedal to the metal. You don't even want to know. I may even have a team on there 4 times.
Jeez. If they could do it, I know the one team it would be the Cowboys. But there you go. I like that schedule, though. It's good stuff.
Here's the thing. There's 2 things that eventually I believe are going to happen. One that I want to have happen. One that I think is going to happen. The Sports Broadcasting Act of 1961 is going to be extinct in, I think, the next 5 years at least. Yeah. And then there's one thing I want to have happen is relax your damn uniform policies. Seriously. Can we get, Can we get a matchup where the 49ers wear their throwback whites and the Eagles wear their Kelly greens at home? Like, can we get that?
I know. I mean, that would be a beautiful picture, especially with the Eagles going to San Francisco this year. I mean, could you imagine that in 425 sunlight? Come on.
Oh, well, and here's the thing too. Like, you know how the NBA you see like uniform combos that you didn't even know these teams had.
Yeah.
Okay, I think in the NFL I mean, there's only 17 games. Eventually, there's going to be 18. I think in the NFL, Chase, that these teams have enough like commitment and investment to their uniforms that they're going to take it seriously. They're not going to go throwbacks every game.
Yeah, they do.
But they're going to pick the best games to do it. And if you
100%.
can, and like, why can't we have two teams wear their darks in the same game? Atlanta and Tampa Bay did it last year. It looked awesome.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they know which game draws most eyes, which games are the biggest of them. Look good, feel good, play good. There you go.
Even in the playoffs, if you want to do it.
Yeah,
why
not?
That might be a push.
Yeah, but still, I mean, we got you there. So I mean, that's going to be interesting though. But again, I mean, I can't wait for next episode though. This will be fun to do all the pitches and everything else. We'll have stuff after the draft,
that's going to be interesting.
But yeah,
we'll go through every one of the teams. How many primetime games will they get? There are some really interesting teams that I was having trouble with.
Yeah, no, it's going to be a lot of fun. Can't wait for that exercise. And again, the Bengals got Dexter Lawrence, and
the Reds are winning baseball games.
Dexy, and we're going to have an episode for you guys next week. It should be a lot of fun here on the way.
The Reds are winning baseball games too, Chase. 5-1 this past week. They swept the Twins. They're 14-8. They're winning.
Yep, they're winning. So it's a great time to be in the city of Cincinnati. With that being said, Alex Frank, Chase Younts. We'll see you guys next time. I'm waiting all day for SNF Podcast.